Hey everybody, what's going on? Welcome to another episode of I'm tired of messing with the lighting for my green screen today, so it's just going to be messed up for this video. Let's get into it. Alright, so I got a little bit of news for you guys. Before I get into it, I want to say make sure that you're subscribed. I'm going to be doing some giveaways and some other fun stuff soon. So subscribing and having notifications on is going to be the best way to stay on top of that. I'm also going to be doing a lot of things on Twitch. If you're not following me over on Twitch, twitch.tv/JGigs. We'll be doing a lot of fun things over there too. Different kinds of giveaways and, other stuff you might want to be around for. So do all that if you would like. Otherwise, let's go ahead and get into it and talk about this little bit of news we got. Now, there's a 10x, so we're going to be doing our usual 10x review. I'm going to be going over and talking about everybody in the 10x. Spoiler alert, it is awful. It's a really bad 10x, but there's still a little bit to talk about in there, so we'll do that. The news, though, we're getting 2 new artifact sets in the game. The first one is a 2-piece. They're both 2-piece sets, and the first one is plus 10% HP and plus 10% defense. So it's another one of those sets that do 2 things. And the other one is a 2 set, and it's 40 accuracy and 5% speed. Now, they haven't told us where they're adding these sets in. Historically, these seem like they're going to be in Platinum Arena chest. So it probably does not matter to most of the player base that these are being added. But they're adding them, and they wanted us to mention them. So I would not get your hopes up about these sets. They're probably not going to be available to the general public. But who knows? Maybe they'll surprise us. I don't know. We don't really have any news about the Battle Pass yet that I've seen. We don't have any news about the Void Tower. Other than that, the team is working on a video showing everything that they're working on or have planned or something along those lines. But no actual news, no actual conversation about anything. So with that being said, let me know what you guys think about the new artifact sets. If you think that they'll make them available to the general public, or if you think it's going to be Platinum Chest exclusive type stuff, that would be my bet. If I was a betting man, I would bet they were going to be in Platinum Chest. But there you go, a couple new artifact sets. They don't even know the names of them yet. They just wanted to tell us what they were and what they would do. So there you have it. Let's go ahead and get into the 10x. Kicking things off with Royal Huntsman. Royal Huntsman is not a terrible legendary. He has an interesting setup. He attack buffs himself with his A1 if it's critical. Now this is kind of out of order. It's a strange thing for an A1 to do, but it does it. So if he's in a fight that's going to be going on a little bit longer, great. Maybe he can buff himself. A2 attacks all enemies, places defense break on all enemies for 2 turns if the attack is critical. Another interesting skill, I guess, for him to have. It's an AoE defense break. He does have to crit, so it makes him a little bit harder to get it. But AoE defense break is always nice. Unfortunately, there are a lot of better options for AoE defense breaks in the game that are not as hard to get as him. But it's there, right? Now, this right here, attacks one enemy, will ignore defense by 100%. This is a really great skill. It can be a very powerful nuke. If you're going to use him in arena, maybe to cut through a defense team, and you've got him tuned up right to do that, he could do that really well. I believe it's the Force Keep where it's defense based. The problem that I've run into is I was trying to build a speed team for the Force Keep one day, just goofing around, and I put him on the team. He won't use this on the boss. In my experience, he wouldn't A3 the entire fight. And I would even stop and auto every turn to watch, and when it was available I'd hit auto and he wouldn't use it. I don't know why. I don't know what the deal is with him in this skill. So he's probably going to be someone you're going to have to manual with. Maybe the problem's fixed. Maybe no one else is having that problem. I was on stream one night and we were messing around, and we figured out that he would not use his A3 for whatever reason. So do with that what you will. But he's got high base attack. He's got good base speed, good base crit damage. He can pump out some damage. He can smack pretty hard. He's very purely designed to do damage, but he can contribute with the AoE defense break. So not a terrible legendary, to be honest. Not that bad. Next up on the list we have Candrapon. He is one of the coolest looking legendaries in the game, but probably one of the worst. He's not... there are things that can be done with him, I'll put it like that. He's not totally useless. There are things that can be done with him, but he is not nearly as good as he is cool looking, right? So, places an extra hit if the target is under an attack buff. Here he's got an AoE. He gets an extra turn and resets the cooldown of this skill if this attack kills an enemy. Now this is really cool. This is actually a really cool skill. Here he gets Perfect Veil and attack buff on himself, and then damage increases by 40% while attacking. What I would like to see with him, and I think I talked about him when I did my 10 worst legendaries in the game. I believe he was on the list, and I believe that my change to him was give him an extra turn here. Since all he's really doing, because this doesn't matter, since all he's really doing is buffing himself, and then doing more damage when he's buffed. Maybe he'd be a little too strong, but I feel like he could buff himself here, give himself an extra turn, and then use this skill. And then if it gets a kill, he can use it again, right? And eventually he'd buff himself, he'd run his buffs off. But I don't know, I feel like he could become pretty strong and pretty significant with that tweak. So, you know, he's, like I said, he's not just straight up garbage. But you can tell the theme they're going for here with this 10x. When we get through it and you'll see everybody that's in it. Strange decision. It's a lot of the ones that people are kind of like meh about. And he's another one. But he does look super cool. So, here you go. Next in line, we have Baron. Another example of one that just should be really cool and just isn't quite there. But attacks one enemy will attack all remaining enemies with any surplus damage if the target is killed. Has 10% chance to unlock Sky Piercer. So you can set this up to do some pretty cool things. Draco has a similar setup in his first skill, and with the right setup, you can really hurt some people. Now Draco's, I think, does triple any surplus damage, and that can just get crazy out of hand if it's set up properly. But this is pretty cool too. You hit somebody hard with low health, everybody's going to take decent AoE damage. Here, he can place a defense buff. The debuff is guaranteed. Has a 20% chance of unlocking Sky Piercer. So, I'm assuming that means he does not need any accuracy or any chance to proc or anything for this. This means if they don't have block debuffs up, they're catching a defense break here. So, interesting enough. Good chance to unlock the secret skill. Third skill attacks one enemy. Damage increases according to the number of buffs on this champion. Has a 40% chance to unlock Sky Piercer. And then all of this basically leads us here to Sky Piercer. Attacks all enemies. Deals pure damage. Will ignore shield and block damage buffs. What this means is there is no damage mitigation here. It ignores defense. It hits through shield. It hits through block damage. Pure, unmitigated damage. And it can hit, obviously, really, really hard. He's never going to be at disadvantage because he's void. The problem is just that the rest of his kit doesn't really do him any favors. Like, you know, the lead is good. This is okay. You have to set him. I mean, like I said, not trash. Can be fun to use. Not one of the better legendaries in the game, though, right? And I believe you're starting to see the theme here. Another void Lego in this one is Gurgo. Now I believe Gurgo got some buffs recently, and he's not so bad. He's got a freeze on the A1. He's got a freeze, an AoE freeze on the A2. And grants an extra turn when he uses it. So he buff strips, which could be nice if someone's got block debuffs up. He could strip that, freeze the whole enemy team, and get an extra turn. Attacks one enemy, places an extra hit if the target has a freeze. And it's an A3, so I would imagine the multiplier is pretty high. I would imagine it smacks pretty good. And then his passive, 50% chance of placing freeze on the attacker for one turn if this champion loses more than 20% of their max HP on one attack. So it almost sounds like a mastery, right? So if anybody hits him hard, they've got a pretty good chance of being frozen, and then attack buff for the Crips. He's not that bad. There's some fun stuff that can be done with him. He could be problematic in some arena comps. The AoE freeze could potentially give you some help in dungeon waves if you're struggling to get through there. He's not bad, right? He's not so bad. Moving on to the epics, we have Shatter Bones, moderately popular for one reason or another. If he crits, he attack buffs the whole team with a weak attack buff on his A1. Kind of a silly setup. Attacks all enemies 3 times. 50% chance to decrease the turn meter. I can't stop yawning! 50% chance to decrease the turn meter by 30%. I'm assuming generally that means each hit. Sometimes it'll say each hit, and sometimes it will not say each hit, but it usually means each hit, whether it says it or not. I don't know. Either way, it's AoE turn meter reduction. Could be handy. He's got turn meter boost and speed buff. Wait. Speed break on all enemies and turn meter boost for all allies. There you go. And then accuracy in arena battles by 70%. It's all pretty meh. The AoE turn meter knockback could be nice for certain situations, but it's all pretty meh, you know? I think the star of... Where's she at? Where is she? Here she is. The star of this show might be Luria. I know that there's some people that really like Luria. Got a lot going on with this A1. She's got an or situation going on here where it's defense break, heal reduction, or speed break. AoE with a freeze. Enemies killed by the skill cannot be revived. People like to use her a lot in arena. A1 removes all buffs. Also has an 80% chance of placing block buffs for 2 turns. So it's a full buff strip on one enemy and then put block buffs back up on them. Pretty nice. Can be problematic for sure in arena, right? Especially with the Rotoses and you know, all the revive teams you see. If you can get her to land a block revive, that's going to be helpful. In theory, she'd be good in Ice Golem. Ice Golem in the higher stages, they get so tanky, it gets hard to set up that killing blow with someone that has block revive, but it's there. But Luria is kind of a popular champ. People kind of like her, so probably the star of this particular 10x. And we've got her, who I like. I know she's kind of got a little underground following. She is pretty cool. She can smack really hard. I'm a fan of most of the dwarves. I think they're my favorite faction. She attacks one enemy 2 times. Each hit ignores 30% of the target's defense. Then she gets a shield buff equal to 20% of the damage she did. It's a lot on A1. Attacks an enemy, ignores 50% of the target's defense when attacking with a shield buff. Heals this champion by 50% of the damage inflicted. Places shield buff on this champion equal to any surplus heal for 3 turns. So if she fully heals herself and beyond, she then puts a shield up on herself. And this skill will also do more when she has a shield on herself. A3 is attacks one enemy 3 times. Each hit ignores 25% defense. Grants an extra turn if this champion has full HP after using this skill. So, if she's on lifesteal, it's very likely she'll fill herself back up here with the masteries. If she already had full health, you know, stuff like that. Pretty cool, pretty fun champ. Again, not just totally game-changing. None of these champs are really going to change your game, but she's a fun one. Pretty cool one. If you don't have her, she might be fun to go for. And then the last one on the list, I believe, is a Knight's Rev, and it's you. Yes. Oh, Faceless. All right, who's Faceless? Is it you? You. All right. Looking like a Fallout character. Faceless, 15% chance of placing an extra hit. Places crit buff on himself for 2 turns, and then attacks an enemy. That's nice that he buffs and then attacks. That's kind of cool. And then ignores shield and block damage buffs as well as defense. So kind of like Baron's skill, where he ignored all that. This is basically pure damage. Ignore shield, ignore block damage, ignore defense. No mitigation, pure damage output. 3-turn cooldown. Could be something to that. Could be a fantastic single target nuke for some of the more problematic comps you're coming up against. Maybe worth playing around with if you pull him. And then arena battle attack lead. So that's a quick rundown of everybody on the 10x. My personal opinion is pass on this one. I don't think there's anyone on this 10x that you have to have, short of being a collector of sorts, and there being someone here that you haven't managed to pull yet. Maybe you'd like a better chance to pull them. The epics under Shatter Bones, the epics except for Shatter Bones, would be fun to have, nice to have. There's things to be done with them. I would personally recommend that you save your shards, though. This does not seem... They have done way better lineups for every other 10x they've done so far. This really seems like the dumpster 10x. I don't know if it's a test to see if everybody will participate no matter what they put in a 10x, and they can keep doing them crappy like this. I don't know what this is, but that's my thoughts on it. I would like to know what you think. Are you planning on summoning? Is there anybody on the list you feel like you have to have? You know, let me know. I'll be interested. Let me know what you think about the new artifacts. You guys have convinced me to bring back the free-to-play series, so be on the lookout for that. That's coming soon. It'll be a new account. I'm not going to revive the Pauper account. We're just going to let that one rest in peace. Start up a new account in the current climate of the game, and see what we can do with it. Some of the rules will be a little different on this one, but we'll get into all that in the first video of that series, so be on the lookout for that. And other than that, that's it. Again, head over to Twitch and drop a follow if you want to catch me live. I'm going to be doing daily giveaways over there. You probably want to subscribe and turn on notifications here. I'm going to be doing a lot more giveaways and stuff like that here as well. Got some skits coming for you guys. I'm working on some new tracks, trying to keep it fun, trying to keep it interesting. Hopefully we do that. Yay bag green screen lighting. We'll work on that. Hope y'all have a good one. Thank you for watching. I'll see you later.